Good evening. I guess tonight sort of didn't take any notes or anything, but I do want to talk about the importance of education. And It seems like I remember like in the 70s, 72 when a lot of the Russians came over. It seemed like the Bronx started burning. Like now, where they got like most of the Russian mafia, the schools got invaded. Um, and they were attacking us kids really, and you could see. I would say it's like 72, 74. You could see the decline in the education system, and I remember like at that time found out that Arthur Ashe had got AIDS, and this is like I think it was like somewhere like I want to say it was like 79. That because right after Vietnam War came, they got out of Vietnam War, and there was and then marijuana got illegal, and you couldn't find marijuana for like a month or anything. It was just flooded with cocaine. But I remember like these guys that came back from Vietnam, and these black guys that came back from Vietnam, and they were talking about like how it was over there, and one of the things that really struck out to me is that of course my dad had got drafted, everybody got drafted, back in those days, everybody had to do a little bit of military, like, unless you ditched the draft, or you, had some type of medical, issue, or, your family had enough money to, keep you like my dad, he had started college, and he was able to finish it up, and while he was in the military. Anyway, but one of the things that struck me is that the guys were coming back saying that there's a sexually transmitted disease that has no cure, and I think I went down south or something, and I heard these one old guys talking. And like how all of them had came back from the military, and so like I don't know, I remember I went around and asked some of my uncles, like they like of course, and they were all different branches, and one in Korea, one different wars to the different ages, and like a continuous war that kept each one of them able to enter a war. All of them came back, and some guy, he said something to the effect, they couldn't kill us in the war, but they knew they would be able to kill us with their sex and their drugs. That was the black man's kryptons, is that he thought that he was supposed to have multiple females, and that is the issue, and that's the main reason, is that I know like with the a lot of stuff with the PV, I can't think of it, whatever that cancer is that women get, they got the shot for them first. If you put all the fault on the victim, be it like if she gets raped, like, well, why did you wear this? Be it that she like maybe falls in love with a guy, and the girl falls in love and they get pregnant, and like if they're the same age, there's nothing, to me, I think that it's nothing wrong with it, even if they're within like 2 years or whatever. 3 years at certain, like in teenager years, could seem like a lot to some, but it's not unreasonable. But anything after that, it's a little bit unreasonable, because a lot of times we forget, even though as females, after we birth the child's not fully developed. So you have to carry them around, and you're not giving them breast milk, so they're not getting any they have no immune system, against the new stuff. So, and even the food that we feed them these days is not, like when I was a kid, everybody ate peanut butter. Like there was always some child that was allergic or something to it. And I even remember like Aunt Lurleen, like she was a midwife, Dad was a doctor, and if you met a real voodoo queen, she was probably Sherman. If you met an extra woman, she knew all about herbs and sort of like different than one I met in New York, but maybe not. I guess she was a Sherman too. But the real ones, like, it wasn't like TV where they only did bad stuff. They knew a lot about like what like every plant had a if it had a flower to it, it either was something to eat or it was medicine. So like if you think about like a tomato plant has a flower to it, etc. But they, you always notice like I have some butternut squash I'm trying to grow, but I'm getting ready to pull up my sunflower. So when I do that, it's so warm here. It stays pretty warm until like October anyway. So I'll be able to grow hopefully something else. But it's a lot hotter. It's been for the last 10 days. The heat index, it's been like 100 plus, 106, 110. It's been playing around there. It's like tonight. It's like it's not even cooling off at night. Really, 80 degrees. The dog looks sick. I'm worried about Polly. Polly looks a little sluggish, but it's nothing. She can't come in here because she won't come near me. But anyway, I digress. I really do want to talk about the education system and how it affects. Well, you can look at it now, and you can look at and we have certain interest groups, like with the super PAC, like with our elections coming up in 2016. You got like I guess about 4 Supreme judges that I guess for the citizens. Well, anyway, where they decided to make corporations people. So, and at the same time, they're taking away our First Amendment, our constitutional right. So I say, we were invaded by Russia in a lot of ways. I mean, you can look at some of the people, how the Republicans are acting. So, and you can see what happened in 2008. Before that with the housing law, we have and racism bloomed, and which made it very, very easy to make laws. And then you have black people that are very, very trained by the propaganda from TV to wear hair extensions, to wear flashy jewelry, to the big old flashy cars. Like, I don't understand why you need a car that could go 100 plus miles an hour when there's so much traffic out there, and poles and barriers and all these other things, and roads that are not straight, and potholes, and and all these other problems that you would have on a regular road. That could cause great danger going at high speeds. And so like I see some like these young people that they have to get the flashy cars, all about that and everything. And it's a way to cipher the money, more money out of the poor. And it's not because the people that are that own the corporations, because they control the food. They're controlling really like the clothes that we buy, what we watch on TV, how the news is reported to us. Like, most of the time, I don't even hear who, what, where, and why on the news. You know, they're always asking, well, why do you think so-and-so shot somebody? You know, and when the real important thing, like that Muslim guy that did that killing, and it's like, I see, like, they went to his house and, like, they handcuffed, like, the wife and the mother or whatever. You know, that would be like if your son went and burglarized the dollar store, right? And so they come up to your house and they handcuffed everybody in the house. There's some way, in the way our policemen are policing, the way they're training, because I took a course where there was a bunch of policemen in there, and it's intentional, and the school system is not, excuse me, I get hydrated. The school system, I just pull up old containers. Recycle, I guess. The school system is not really gearing to teach the children. They're siphoning money out of the school system to go, you know, really, like locally, you know, it's just to patronize the local people, the local mayor, the local commissioner, the local chief of police. You know, like, they get little ciphers of this. You know, they patronize them by giving them big old shiny, you know, tanks and guns. And, you know, guns are glorified more so. So, you know, like, I think that they were supposed to really, like that child was thinking, cite a race war. But they forgot about that they already had devastated the education system. So, you know, like, there's a big, like, they don't, you know, this illusion that they're under some illusion of grandiose, like, it's popped, you know, very easily, because of the war for being a racist and murderer, is prison or police shooting. But you see, the police is hell-bent, like it's been a war on drugs. We have so many people. Like, President just went into a prison, a federal prison, and he's the first one. Well, those private prisons. I don't know if he was in a private one in Oklahoma. I know it was a federal prison. I don't know if they have a private federal prison, but privatizing the prison, they got an open market on the stock market, where they're investing and putting more people. Like, the more people they put in there, the more money they make. But like I noticed, the people that are coming out of prison they're ruined, lots of them. And it's not because they're weak or anything. It's just that the food, the atmosphere, the conditions that they're under, the lack of humanity, the lack of their silver, you know, the lack of their rights, the lack of their privacy rights, the violations of their human rights, you know, even like, and like you could see the jailers are having, you know, like, we have overly sex, like I said, once they were able, cause then you're like, and so so they attacked, came in attacking with a racist thing, like, oh, we're gonna, you know, this is what we're gonna do to the black people. We're gonna put all the blacks in jail. We're gonna have them all on drugs, and we're gonna have them all, you know, like, just thinking about sex, you know, all the time. You know, I know, like, on the Facebook, it seems like when I'm during the time with the first time with the Farrison, and, you know, I was so disgusted by the lack of humanity on the police side for their actions. Like, they weren't even human. They're incapable of empathizing, or they were incapable of recognizing that they had made a mistake. Because to be human is to be error. If you cannot be wrong, you cannot better yourself. I mean, like, it's just like a child will never learn how to walk, you know what I'm saying, if they didn't go through the stages of crawling, if they didn't go through the stages of falling, if they didn't, maybe sometimes get corrected shoes or something. If you don't correct the issues at the beginning of it, later on, they might be so bow-legged and pigeon-toed at the same time, and buck-kneed and all this, that you have to break the legs to straighten them. Some things that are going on right now is devastating, and is destroying the whole United States, with the jails, with the policing, with the schooling, and the infrastructure of the United States is falling apart. I mean, like the roads, the bridges. We don't have a good passenger train system, like other countries do. We've fallen behind in technology. We've fallen behind in everything. You can see how many cars are being repossessed, recalled. Not repossessed. Well, that too. But anyway, so I mean, and it's like this guy is living over here. He's very happy. He's got electricity. He's got the electricity. His mom turned it back on when Brock went in jail. So some of these mothers that have raised these children to be awful, do not correct the child, because like this kid's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But encourage that type of behavior. I've heard mothers talk about, oh, I want my son to be a gangster. You know what I'm saying? And now here, like, they're like in their 33s or whatever, and they in prison. They were gonna be rich and all. Yeah, you have people like 50 Cent, but see, they're attacking him. You know what I'm saying? He got up with the big money. He's still trying to play like that mentality where, like, you're in the ghetto, you're supposed to be playing games, but when you get into big bucks, it's time to graduate from kindergarten. There's excuse me. And it's a matter of, like, if they could humiliate you, shame you, embezzlement, blackmail. These people are organized, and like one thing we have to do with black people is be 100% supportive of your immediate family, regardless if they get pregnant at a teen, instead of like, like getting mad at the girl, check out the guy. And I don't mean like go beat him up or anything, but like even like the way we're raising our children is not healthy for our kids, I don't know. It's really getting bad. I remember with the Pell Grant, we you could go to college free, and nowadays you can't. And so if this keeps going, well, anyway, if this keeps going this way, I think that they're going to be. I think that like, to be honest with you, they were probably already hoping to incite with the with the type of, even like the police was sort of like a tool. 1%, like, because they make their money from war. War is big profit for them. It's big money for them. If they're a corporation, they're because they got all their food. Look at their chickens and everything. Even our eggs went up. I went to the store to try to get eggs. I already had some eggs here. They were $2 and something. It wasn't long where I had got 12 eggs for 68 cents. So we're the people that are billionaires. I think they don't even understand some of the people that are underneath them that 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 are into the sex industry, that are into trafficking people, that are into trafficking drugs, that we have an underlying black market that has is devastating. America is doomed right now if we don't change, if we don't do a major change, if we don't do something, because it's making it a very miserable, stressful, too many bills and not enough money coming in to cover the bills. The electric bill from this heat is going to be outrageous, but it's been hot for 10 days. Anyway, there goes my sniffles again. So, the main matter short, if we don't start educating our kids, like look at Texas, what they want to do, they want to change the whole conception of the Confederate flag. With the Confederate flag, they want to separate from the United States. They want to become their own country. So these white trash indent slaves could have so they wouldn't have to be slaves. They could have black slaves. But the only problem is that them themselves hadn't had any experience in being nice, being righteous, or being fair, because they had never been treated that way. The wars they had in Europe, like around Jesus Christ time, nailing people to the cross, or the church was, like stretching people until they pop, and burning them at stakes and hanging people. These were very cruel stuff. These were very cruel times. You know what I'm saying? They came over here to where America is now, and these were not people that had any experience with war. They had never seen anything like that. They was living in such a way that was in harmony with the earth, so they didn't have all these diseases. They didn't have the syphilis. They made it with one for life. So when you have men jumping around from different women, men are the ones that cause most, if not 98% of the sexually transmitted diseases. Let's just face it. Doctors prefer to look up women's vaginas before to have to check on a guy's prostate, and check on how many guys go to a urologist once a year. Anyway, so I don't know. I guess things will get worse.